We have to really come to terms with something that's very difficult for a lot of people. And that is what makes up you as a person. When you say, this is me, what does that mean? Right? What are you? You're determining what you are by what you think you are. But that doesn't mean that it has to be what you think you are. If you're having struggles, let's say, you're constantly bashing up against these struggles. You can't get yourself to pick up the phone. You can't get yourself to talk to people. You can't get yourself to go to the next level. You might think that you're that struggle. And then the seduction is that you start looking for reasons why you're having that struggle. And the only place to look is we start going into our past, and it's a big rabbit hole. You can instantly say, I am no longer this person, and I'm going to be a person that acts fast and acts today and acts thoroughly and does exactly what it is that I'm going to say that I'm going to do. You don't have to go to therapy. You don't need any more coaching. You don't need any more systems. You don't need any more anything in order to make that decision and to begin to act. Okay? To think that our past makes us who we are is a very dangerous thing because it takes away your choice. And your greatest power is your ability to choose. Most of the world behaves based on the past that they lived through. But all personal and professional development is based on the idea that we can change who we are and we become a better version of what it is that we actually want to be, and we can let go of that past. Any part of it that's not working for you, we can let go of it, right? Now, then we get into this idea, like this is where it gets sticky for people. Then they go, but it's real. No, it isn't. It's not real. It was real when you went through it. The only thing that it is today is a memory. And I promise you, your memory is not factual when it comes to actually what happened. Science has done so much testing on this, it's incredible. No two people remember things the same way. You have two people sit together, observe something, and they will remember it differently. When you do remember something, you're remembering what sticks out in your memory at the time, but not the entire scope of what everything was. If something was uniquely painful for you and just you in some past experience, you might remember just that, but you don't remember anything else. It doesn't mean that there wasn't anything else. It just means that you don't remember it. Now, what purpose is there of taking things from your past, let's say they're painful things, trauma things, betrayal things, abusive things, toxic things? What use is it of taking those things and carrying them with you as if they're real and it's part of who you are? For what reason would anybody want to do that? Only because they think they have to. The only reason they do it is because they think they have to. They were never taught that you're not your past. Your past doesn't dictate your future. Another problem is that when you are living in your past and you're letting your past control where you are today, you're giving somebody else authority over you. You're not taking authority of your own life and looking at it like, I'm going to throw out the trash. Every one of us has had painful things from our past. Nobody had a perfect childhood. When people go to therapy to come to terms with things, what they're really doing is they're getting to the place where they can make a decision where it no longer affects them. That's all that's happening. If it actually happens, right? Because the more that you dwell on something, the more that it keeps repeating itself. So what are we doing when we actually make that, when we get to a place where we go, I'm no longer going to allow this to affect me? The only way to do that is to change the meaning that you're giving it as it is affecting you. If I change the meaning, it doesn't mean the same thing, and I don't have to run the same program. I don't have to run the same paradigm. I don't have to run the same rules. When I began to change, the first thing was to act as an entirely different person. When I changed the three attitudes, I became a new person that day. And then I built upon that. I was not that person the day before. I was a product of the environment that I was raised in. It was very negative. It was very disrespectful. It was very entitled. And I said, I'm going to change that. That was it. It was a decision. It didn't require therapy. It didn't require a coach. I had nothing. I just said, I'm going to change that. I'm not going to be that person anymore. But it was a line in the sand. It was, I'm not going to be that person anymore. And I would not tolerate my mind going back to those ideas. I work every day on being this new person. This is the person that I am. This is what this new person does every day. And I stayed in that lane. And then I began to study and I began to add things to that. And every time you add something to it, you delete something that it was controlling you from your past. The only thing that's real is what you're experiencing right now in this moment. That's it. That's the only thing that's real. You can tell yourself all you want that your past was real, but it does not serve you in any way. It just keeps you stuck. The things that you have trouble with today, and also the great things that you do today, are the result of who you think you are, combined with what you say you're going to do and your ability to keep your word to do it. That is not difficult. Why do people struggle with this so much? I'll tell you why. Because it's convenient to mess around in the middle and not change. That's why. You could look at it and you could say they don't want something bad enough. That would be true. But what's even more important is that there's nothing really weighing where they have to change. They're comfortable in where they are. That doesn't mean they like where they are. And here's the other thing about that. There are various levels of that in society. People are comfortable being homeless, right? Your mind can get comfortable in any area and then be afraid to move forward. So what are the signs that a person's doing that? They're constantly getting ready to do something. You don't have to get ready. You're already blessed with an ability. Just go do it. Every business starts on the bottom and figures things out as they go. If you're trying to figure everything out before you start, you're stalling. You're wasting time. It's just you're BSing yourself. 100%. Just go start talking to people. Just go start selling people. That's how you learn. You make adjustments as you work. You're not going to get it perfect. I'm going to get all of this stuff in place and then it's going to be perfect. No, it isn't. Because you're still the problem. You're still the problem. And how you think affects everything that you're doing. You have to integrate what you're doing as far as having conversations with other people and getting good at that so that you can decide what people you want to work with, what people you don't want to work with. If you're messing around just getting ready, it's because you haven't actually decided to do anything yet. And that is some kind of dysfunctional self-protection that's going on. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be rejected, whatever. You can't live in that space. And I'll tell you what, business will not tolerate it. You'll be gone before you know it, because the people that do that, you know what happens to them? They spend all their money, they get completely discouraged, and then they go back to doing whatever it is that they were doing before. You've got to become effective as fast as you possibly can. And all you need to know that you can do that is that you have the desire on the front end. That's it. So just start doing it. Make the calls, book the appointments, ask for the sale, keep moving forward. That's the way that we learn. That's the way that we build confidence. That's the way that we get better at everything that we do. We do it over and over and over and over again. We don't think about it over and over and over again. We do it over and over and over again. And you can have as much success as you want, as fast as you want, if you're willing to put yourself out there and learn as you go. And one of the most detrimental things to society is this ingrained idea that we worry about what other people think of us too much. It's just constantly embedded in the minds of people, and they have no idea how susceptible that makes them to negative influence, to toxic leadership, ending up sad, in sorrow with their life, because they'll believe anything as long as there's this idea that I'm accepted, right? That's what ideologies are based on. It's a group of people that all believe the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's bullshit or not. They just feel safe because a bunch of other people believe the same way that they do. And they all stay down on the bottom. They have victim thinking. They point their fingers at everybody who's doing everything to them. They can't change because the evil monster is out there and they don't get out of that space. If you say, what's one thing in common that successful people have? They don't care what other people think. They're charting their own course based on what they want. They've come into the ownership of themselves. You've got to let the idea of what other people think go. And I know that it's painful at first. And that's unconscious behavior, by the way. That's not conscious behavior, right? You could tell yourself this consciously all day long, but your unconscious is what controls your behavior and your feelings. The only way that that goes away is by doing the new thing until you rewire the response system inside of yourself. I have to do it and get a result, do it and get a result, do it and get a result. And I have to change my thinking every single time, right? Yeah, it's work in the beginning. There's no question about it. You've got to be consistent. It doesn't take a long time if you're consistent, because you will ramp up in your wins faster, right, than being sucked into your losses. You ignore the losses and you keep moving forward. So every day, when you look at your day, ask yourself, what part of me is controlling what I do? Is it the past? Is it an insecurity? Is it that I don't think that I'm enough? Whatever. Is that controlling what I do? Or am I following the desire to be, do, and have something much bigger than I have right now? That's not a long journey, by the way. Struggling where you are without making the decision is a very long journey. If you position yourself psychologically, spiritually, the power that you have is extraordinary because you're working with God with that idea. You're seeing yourself as, I have something good to bring to the world. I'm offering to help people as I move out in the world. I'm not going out trying to get. Don't go looking for work. The looking for work, so that can be confusing because then you go, well, David, you're telling me to go out there and find people to buy. Isn't that the same thing? No. Looking for work is going out trying to get. A business person is going out and trying to give. We're looking for problems to solve. We're looking for people to help. You give and you receive. The emotional flip that happens there, I think, is extraordinary because it makes you feel good about yourself. I'm going out there trying to do something good every day. I'm not out there trying to get and I'm worried about if somebody's going to say no. And frankly, most of the time, the world responds wonderfully to you. It's not this giant monster to be feared. Most people will respond positively to you if you're going out there sincerely trying to help. But you have to have the experience to believe it, to see it. Asking for more. People will buy more. All you have to do is ask. The universe will give it to you every time if you ask. But you have to ask. And you have to keep asking, right? You have to come from that place. So raise yourself up to that place every day, every morning. Don't tolerate being less, right? It's so easy to go down a negative road with your mind. Say, screw that. It's going to be an amazing day. We're going to make sales. We're going to build a company. We're going to do something positive. We're going to add to the good in the world by what we do. That's a big deal.